This your man, Mark Nash. Okay. Sam Seder is from the Majority Report. If you're not familiar with the show, definitely check it out. Also, Breaking Points. Not a big fan of Saagar, but I really like Crystal Ball. And I really like Ryan Grimm from Drop Site News, and he contributes there as well. Sam Seder is about to ether Saagar. Oh my goodness. I remember watching this episode of Breaking Points when it premiered. And I'm listening to Saagar when it happens, and he's just so confident, and he's not really letting Crystal talk right there. Sam Seder is about to ether Saagar with this comeback. So the conversation is about immigration and the deportation policies, and Saagar's like, just win the election, then you can do what you want to do. Win the election. Saagar's gonna keep going down this rabbit hole of no other country does this the way we doing it, and we need to change the way we do things. Watch how Sam Seder cooks it.
You just want to get rid of foreigners. You want to get rid of non-white people.
Exactly.
You may scoop up some white people too. And if you're a fascist, I can understand how you would have no problem with this. But the problem is that there are also, for other conservatives who want to maintain that they're not fascist, any like a sort of like right winger who does not subscribe to this fascism is orphaned. I can tell you that right now, but they don't want to be. And so they're desperate to grasp on to some type of justification for this. But this is insane to me. Saagar is attempting to justify this in some way. Maybe he's not trying to justify it, but this is where his mind goes, which, okay. But listen to this.
I just, maybe this is my own pathology on this issue. It's maddening to me that you have, for example, they're like, children should be in school. I get to move to any country in the world with my child, and I have to demand that nation actually pay for their public school education and allow me in? No. Imagine if I showed up any other country in the world with my daughter and I said, if you kick me out, you're denying my child an education because I just show up there illegally and decide so. That's bullshit. Okay. I'm just going to say it. You do not just get to move here, but enroll your children in public school and then claim that as a good because we are paying for your child's education. While you move here, you don't speak a word of English and God knows what you're actually doing in terms of society. Sorry. I know it sounds callous. It's true. If no other country in the world functions that way. And when you put it that way, it's real different, isn't it? Is that vast amounts of illegals come here with their children and then decide that us as taxpayers have to pay for their health care and for their education. Sorry, I'm not okay with that, period. I will never set that precedent.
Let me ask you this question.
Period, end of story. You have to have a system which...
He was like, no, period, end of story. Saagar's into it, man. He's in his bag. Like, no, doing my rant. He does these rants about gambling. He got his rant about weed. But man, this was funny.
Enables it so that does not happen.
Okay. Well, and now, Crystal goes on to, we don't have to speculate about this. Undocumented immigrants are a net positive in terms of dollars. But he's trying to say it is completely unfair that there's any country in the world that would do this. None of them would do this. No other country in the world would do it. That's how crazy it is that we allow undocumented immigrants, children, to have a right to a free education. It is so crazy. There isn't a single other country in the world that would do this unless I go to something called the internet and Google and ask that question. Is there another single country? And just off the top, France does it. But of course, they're French.
Yo, he's just getting started. Yo, he's about to cook this dude. Let's go.
If you are an undocumented immigrant in France, your kid gets educated like K through 8 or K through 12. And then there's one other country, England. England does that if you're an undocumented immigrant. And then there's Germany. Germany also does that. Just those three, except for also Belgium, Italy, Netherlands, Spain, and most EU countries explicitly or implicitly include all children residing there, regardless of status. Much of Canada, not all of Canada, but large swaths of it.
That's what's up.
Thailand also. And Jordan.
Wow.
Jordan.
Wow.
And you know what? Mexico.
Oh.
Mexico provides free public education to all children, regardless of their immigration or documentation status. I mean, because this is the thing that I find fascinating about it. Because it's like, I can't address the actual reality of what's going on here in terms of like this guy going to a concentration camp. I can't address the separation and the brutalizing of these people. But let me justify it, because what we as a country are doing is so outside of the norm that we have to respond in some way. But what if his adamant that he recognizes sarcasm,
maybe it's just my pathology,
may sound like a pathology.
Yeah.
I believe this so strongly that it may sound like a pathology to you, but no other country in the world does this except for Belgium, Italy, Netherlands, France, England, Germany, Spain, most EU countries, Jordan, Thailand, I didn't Google other places, Mexico. Let's just listen again to how absolutely sure he is. And he realizes on some level, I think, like his subconscious is telling him, this is a pathology. You should Google this before you actually make this.
He said, hold up, am I tripping right now? Yeah, I'm tripping right now. Fuck it, I'm gonna roll with it.
I get to move to any country in the world with my child, and I have to demand that nation actually pay for their public school education and allow me in? No. Imagine if I showed up any other country in the world with my daughter and I said, if you kick me out, you're denying my child an education. While you move here, you don't speak a word of English, and God knows what you're actually doing in terms of society. Sorry, I know it sounds callous. It's true. If no other country in the world functions that way. And when you put it that way, it's real different, isn't it? Is that vast amounts of illegals come here with their children and then decide that us as taxpayers have to pay for their health care and for their education.
I said it earlier about the world over and over and over again. We don't have to speculate about this. Cato Institute, we know that in terms of tax dollars paid in and tax dollars expended upon undocumented immigrants are a net positive. And if you really have an issue with this, like, give them a very easy path to citizenship.
Yeah.
And if they don't want it, then you can be justified in saying, like, well, then, okay, you had the option. You want to be a part of this project? Be a part of this project.
Saagar had to have Glenn Greenwald.
But I have another solution too. Another solution too is, if you have such a big problem with undocumented immigrants, you should have a bigger penalty for the people that's hiring them. Those are the real criminals. Those are the American companies or the people who have their business here in America, hiring undocumented immigrants, usually paying them worse, treating them less than they should, regular employees who are legal and documented. They should have larger penalties. I mean, substantial, not just financial, criminal. You're breaking the law, right? Put them in jail. I guarantee you, if you start putting the CEOs and the presidents of these companies is doing that, the managers, like, people, when you start doing things like that, because that you need a consequence. The consequence shouldn't just be, we'll just you pay a couple of dollars. That money that they're getting fined is nothing substantial compared to how much money the contract is usually for these skyscrapers and these homes. And that's another thing. Shouldn't the pricing of houses and all of those things, shouldn't that be going down? Everything is always going up. They said we need the undocumented immigrants for the farming, because y'all ain't gonna go pick the strawberries. But shit, the strawberries still cost a lot. Everything's still going up. Housing is up. Plumbing is up. Like, if you want to get all the things you guys say, where the undocumented immigrants are the ones that we're hiring to do these jobs. Shit, okay, you hiring them for the hotel. My hotel prices ain't went down yet. Everything goes up. Everything goes up. So that's a whole nother conversation.
I just like after the first 12 or 14 countries, I stopped Googling. But I mean, I just don't understand how someone could be so assured of this if your response to that happening in this country is, I am so aggrieved by this dynamic, this singular dynamic, undocumented immigrants, kids getting free education. If that is so compelling to you, how do you not even do the most basic search on your premise that no other country in the world would do this? The vast majority of countries who are not nearly as wealthy as us do it. They all do it.
There's a debate exchange in 1980 between H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan on exactly this thing. And H.W. Bush is like, yeah, I don't want a whole bunch of uneducated 6 and 8 year olds in our communities.
Of course. Of course. I mean, even from the most sort of anti-immigrant perspective, educate these kids so that if you send them back to wherever they came from, they will have a future there and won't have to come back and taint your beautiful purity of your country.
Yeah. Saagar's parents are immigrants. It's disgusting.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit.
That's the crazy part. His family, his parents are immigrants. Hey, man, make sure y'all subscribe to the Majority Report, and also too subscribe to Breaking Points, because Saagar isn't the only one over there, and it's fun to watch him get cooked most of the time by Crystal. Anyway, she's cooking him most days anyway, and he's not all bad. Sometimes he make good points, but this one right here, he was so off. It's your man Mark Nash. Y'all leave me a comment. Let me know what y'all think of this story. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.